Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz and I will be guiding you on this journey today. These are the readings for the human design profile, and also there will be readings for the human design types. So stick around, for that. We're going to be using the Spellcaster's tarot, which I love because this is probably one of the first 5 tarot decks I ever got. And I haven't used this deck probably actually in years. So before every reading, I do ask the deck if it wants to do all 16 now of the readings, and I'll just shuffle until it kicks out basically like a yes or no card. And the one deck I wanted to use, because I also haven't used it in a few years, gave me the 3 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles. And I was like, okay, you are not in the mood for work. So, so then like this one was actually sitting right next to it. And I was like, ooh, what about EU? And it was like an immediate yes. So I love that. Also, the other deck that I wanted to use, part of the reason why I went to that one was because this wasn't recent. It was like in the last couple months. I actually went back and watched the first videos that I put out. And I think that was in December of 2021. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted to see. I wanted to see how it was or whatever. I don't know. But I'm not going to lie. I also was really expecting to be kind of embarrassed or like cringe, and I really only listened to my sun and rising ones, but I was not embarrassed or like cringy or anything, honestly, at all. Like, I was actually really fucking proud of myself, which is so funny because I was not expecting that reaction, which, that kind of sucks. Like that, I really do need to like give myself a break. But I left a comment though on every video. And of course I just, copied and pasted, but I just left a comment that said, hey Liz, this is Liz from 2025. And I just want to tell you like how fucking proud I am of you because you started this, like I was so nervous and I thought for sure you were going to be able to hear it in my voice. I thought for sure I was going to be stumbling over my words. I thought for sure that, that I was just going to like be continuously losing my words because I do that a lot, and just fumbling all over the place, but I wasn't at all, or not maybe to the extent that I thought. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, so I left, a comment and I was just like, man, like I am so fucking proud of you. And you're the one that felt the fear and did it anyway. And granted, I don't know exactly what I said in that comment. I could look it up, but something along these lines, just telling myself I'm proud of myself, because that past version of me is why I'm even still here. And also why I'm going to be teaching an intro to tarot class at this wonderful, experience boutique next month, which I never thought I would do. So it's just, it was really cool. And I'm so glad that I did that too. Also, the other thing that was kind of funny is that in the intro of those videos, I was like, the acronym for Heretic Owl is HO. So I was like, if you're a hoe, subscribe to the channel. Or if you want to be a hoe, subscribe to the channel. Which I just think is absolutely hilarious. Like, hoe is one of my favorite endearing words. Like, I do not use it like at derogatory. I know people do. I don't, but yeah, so if you want to be a hoe, subscribe to the channel. Be a hoe with the rest of us. But also, like, you know, Heretic Owl Tarot is hot. So, you know, being a hoe makes you hot, you know, or whatever. I can't say, like, you know, do hot girl shit because I don't know if Megan Thee Stallion trademarked that. But anyway, just funny. Just funny. And also too, like I said, like I just remember being so fucking nervous. I literally, I had a phone that barely had any memory on it. I had a computer that barely had any, I could literally only do one video at a time because I didn't have memory or storage on like any device, you know, to actually do multiple videos at a time. And I was using like a folding table, and I had my, I should have grabbed it actually. I had my little owl stone or whatever, which I do still have. But anyway, yeah, very cool. So that's all I'll say. This is the second time I'm actually recording this intro because the first time I was like blabbering on for literally like 15 minutes. So that's it. Oh, that's not it. We're going to do these readings a little bit different this time. And this is also like the way that I've been reading for myself lately. I've been pulling like 2 sets of cards. The first set is the lie, which is the obstacle, or of course, I mean, literally the lie, right? That we're either telling ourselves that usually is like what we're telling ourselves. You know, it could be the limiting belief, old stuff, you know, whatever is also like holding you back or keeping you small. And then the other side is going to be the truth. And of course, right, I mean, I feel like that is pretty self-explanatory. It's a little bit similar-ish to the 333 readings that I do, which is like the door and the key. Similar-ish. But I've already done the 1-3 reading actually, and oh my gosh, that was beautiful. So no doubt all of these readings will turn out that way. And also I believe that the truth is so imperative right now, and especially because we are being bombarded with the depth and the expanse of lies that literally like our whole lives, you know, like the economy, the government, the, you know, the, you know, billionaire class, or, you know, like whatever you want to, whatever, you know, we are literally being bombarded with like how much of that shit is lies, how much we've been fed, you know, like lie wise. And, I think it is imperative, like I said, right now to really hone in on your truth, accept what is true for you as well. And also, again, like even recognize the lies that we're telling ourselves, the limiting beliefs that we're telling ourselves, the identities that we've been, you know, carrying around or operating from, the conditioning, really, because, you know, I mean, with human design, like a big part of it is the deconditioning process. And I really do think that by more people honoring their own truth, it really is, you know, going to shift the world. So that's kind of also like where that's coming from. So I will officially leave it there, and we'll get into the readings. Great. So this is the reading for the 2-4 human design profile, the Hermit opportunist. If you don't know what your human design profile is, there is a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph, and your profile will be listed in there. Your type will be listed in there as well. So, you know, be sure to look out for those readings when they come out as well. And like I said in the intro, we're doing what is the lie and what is the truth. And I will say I've only done 2 readings so far. I've done the 1-3 and the 1-4, and they have been beautiful. so cool. And also to just how the cards, like, I don't even know how to like say the words, but like how like each pile just fits together so perfectly, or each section. I mean, really, it's only been 2 cards, which is great. I think that's like also the perfect amount. But anyway, okay. So I'm just saying it's been perfect. And also, I know I already said this too in the intro, but for whatever reason, I just want to emphasize it again. And it was kind of like when I sat down here and started just getting ready to do these readings, and I knew I was going to start with yours, that it just like flooded into my mind just to reiterate the importance of truth and how it really does. It's a inside job, right? Like it starts at home within ourselves, and the ability to accept your own truth, the ability to see your own truth as well. It's like you can't make a collective shift, or there can't be a collective shift unless that collective has the ability to see themselves clearly, to see their own truth clearly as well. And I do think that human design, I really believe that human design shows up for people when they're ready to go deeper into their journey, their healing, and maybe that's just how like it showed up for me at the time that it showed up for me. Like I was introduced to it in 2016, but I was just like, what the hell is this? Like, I know what the words mean, but I was not at a place in my life to be able to take on something new, like I was in survival mode. And then in 2018, I came back around and I was ready for it then. Like I was out of the relationship that I was in. I was settled. I was working on my own truth, right? Like I was peeling back my own onion and going through all of those things. And then human design came back around. I can't remember. I don't know if it was just like, I was like, it just popped into my head again. And I just started to Google and read about the different elements, and my profile especially stuck out, or like, made the biggest impact. But anyway, okay, let me just, I don't know why I like felt the need to like kind of go on about that, but maybe you're at a period where you're just like, what is true for me? Like, what do I want? And like really trying to hone in on that. And also, I mean, I'm shuffling these cards way more, which is fine. Okay, so let's officially get into your reading here. What is the lie for the 2-4? Ooh. What is the lie for our 2-4s? Sometimes it takes forever. Cards do eventually come out. We have the Fool. How interesting. I think we just roll with it. Because there's 2 cards here. This would be the side for the truth. And then one card. Okay, let's just roll with it. We have the 10 of Swords in the reverse. And then over here we have the Five of Swords and we have the Hanged Man. I haven't really been bringing the bottom of the deck in, but I'm just going to kind of leave it over here. Oh, there. Interesting. I need to sit here for a second because my eyes just kind of keep like bouncing all over the place. Maybe I'll just share with you kind of where my eyes are going. First of all, like with this Fool card here, we have, the sun and the moon, right? So it's like daytime, nighttime. And it's interesting because they're like looking up, they're not like looking at the sun. Like, I mean, who would do that? But they're looking up, which to me, like, since there is this imagery here, they are looking up to the sun, which would maybe just be like optimism, innocence, joy. I mean, of course, too, even just the look on their face, like they're smiling. But it's like they would be falling into the nighttime. And there's this crescent moon there, which, nighttime is the subconscious, the things that are hidden, secrets maybe, unknown, uncertainty, which of course, like when you do take a leap of faith, like there is some uncertainty there. And that's why, first of all, it's a leap of faith. And second, it can be difficult to do, it could be difficult to surrender, to trust. And the reason why I was kind of looking at those two things, because over here on the Hanged Man, we have the nighttime on one side, we have the daytime on the other side. And then we have this figure, and who knows if there is actually somebody in there. I mean, we can assume that there is because it's a Hanged Man. But I mean, literally, like, they are wrapped up and then also belted in. Like, they are not really getting out of there without assistance, and the Hanged Man talks about willful suspension. It talks about delays, but those delays are there because there is a perspective that is not being considered. And it's like, you'll be there as long as you need to be there in order to shift your perspective. And also it's interesting too, like, usually the Hanged Man is depicted upside down. This one is not. And then what is interesting is that we have the 10 of Swords over here, reverse, and the 5 of Swords. I mean, look at just in the 5 of Swords, the person is almost like defending their camp, I would say. Hopefully, can you see that? I have to like stand up. Yeah. There's these wolves over here that are walking away. The 5 of Swords generally talks about a battle of wits, conflict. Swords have to do with our mind, our thoughts, our beliefs, perception, truth, and honesty. I also see swords as being ego, because that's generally where we tend to hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences. It's things happen in our lives. Our brain attached a meaning, attached a story to it. We accepted that as being our truth, speaking of truth. And then it just became part of our personality, right? It became a layer of our onion. Maybe this is why I went on that ramble, like at the beginning of this reading. And again, right, like it becomes your belief systems. It becomes your limiting beliefs. It becomes why you do things and why you don't do other things. It becomes the way that you think about things, your perception. It's literally the filter that, life is happening, right? And we're having experiences, we're doing the things, and, having the experience. Did I already say that? And it's like all going through the filter of our ego, and then it's kicking out a story of the meaning of that, and it's all going through that old programming. And then, over here with the Ten of Swords, we see this looks like the King. I mean, I'm really not sure if this person and this person is the same person. I don't see like a crown around this guy. Not that, I mean, he could have taken it off. But I mean, this guy is also wearing a cape. Oh, well, the little symbol on the cape is different. So not the same guy. There's 9 swords sticking out of him, and he's got 1 sword in his hand, and then the wolves are smelling him. Tens are a completion. It's interesting that we have the Fool, which is the moment of creation, I would say. Like it's the moment we decide to take that step forward, to again, take that leap, to surrender, to trust, to, and then the Ten of Swords here being a completion. It's like there really is nothing else to consider. This is all the ifs, ands, buts, every which way a situation can go. I mean, obviously these swords didn't end up in his back, like by him. Although, don't even get me started on that one documentary with that girl. Okay, anyway, I won't go there. It's like a true crime thing, and she had like stab marks. Okay. Anyway, okay, I'm just gonna finish the thing. She had stab marks in her back, and they were like they ruled her death a suicide. How? What? Impossible. Anyway, it was like the one in Pennsylvania. I literally emailed Josh Shapiro. Is that like, I think that's a governor in Pennsylvania? Yeah. I literally like emailed his office and was like, this is ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, these swords didn't get into their back on their own, right? So I'm glad I just kind of started talking about this because we'll get it clear here. And also too, even that we have these 2 swords energies out here, I think that there's a lot of thought, and maybe there's a lot of conflicting thought. Maybe there's a lot of outside input, because where I was going with, these swords, right? This could be other people's opinions, other people's thoughts, other people, even sharing their experience. Unsolicited advice could be in there. It could be your experience with other people. I also keep getting this feeling of going at it alone, or with it being in the reverse. Like when for reversals for me are internal. It's not an external expression of the card, right? So this could be your stories cycling around. Brene Brown calls them gremlins. This could be your fears, your doubts. There could be, of course, because they do have 1 sword in their hand, that you are really trying to like hold on to, and maybe even fight for your truth. Maybe you realize that there is a new beginning that you want to take. And maybe it's the uncertainty that is causing the wheel to turn. Like I always kind of see, I want to see what the book says actually too, but the hamster wheel, mental gymnastics, betrayal, backstabbing behavior, a king is overthrown, so that is a king. Intense emotional pain that has left one feeling utterly broken and defeated. Reversed, it says danger and disaster will be averted only if caution is exercised and changes are made immediately. Outwitting one's foes to escape defeat. Guilt over one's own unsavory actions. Having an ethical or moral aversion. Narrowly escaping disaster. This almost really feels like a fear of being seen, or like maybe there's also been an experience where you did take a leap of faith and maybe it didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. Maybe you're in that situation now, so it's preventing you from wanting to do it again. Because again, right, I mean, this is the lie side. So it could be the way that you are perceiving. It could be the way that you are perceiving a new beginning. Or even the energy of, like, if you feel in your body that you're ready to move on from something. You're ready to move away from something and move towards something else. But whatever is happening here in the Ten of Swords, you loyalty, obligation, even, the thought of changing, whatever that means, comfort, even catastrophizing things, like that type of energy. I'm curious too. I'm not gonna lie, like I've actually read from the book like more than I usually do, but it's been so like perfect every single time. I mean, I don't have any shame about that. That's why I love, and look how big this book is. I love books. I love reading like other people's perspectives on stuff too. So let's see. Let me see what the Fool says. Because I wonder if it mentions let's see. Encapsulating the idea of spirit unencumbered by self-awareness or the needs and demands of the flesh. The Fool is truly the free spirit turned archetype. On a spiritual level, the Fool may represent letting go of the ego, which is the Ten of Swords, living for the moment or full immersion into the more spiritual, less materialistic lifestyle. And it's interesting, we have no earth out here. We also have no fire because the Fool is Uranus, the Hanged Man is Neptune. The Fool is indifferent toward the material world and is prone to being a bit reckless. It doesn't really mention like the like daytime, nighttime thing. But I do think that we are correct in that their attention is up. They're not even watching like where they're walking, right? They're carrying not a lot with them. There is a snake on this pole or whatever, wand, whatever too. And we literally today is the Chinese New Year. So we officially are done with the wood snake year, which is interesting that there's a snake that's wrapped around a piece of wood. That is symbolic as well, I believe. And maybe just the year was a heavy mental year. Maybe you did process through a lot of your own shit, and maybe it was more of an internal thing. Maybe it wasn't something that you were sharing with people. But also, again, like since this is on the side of the lie, this would feel complete. And it's kind of like what are you perceiving as that completion, right? Like if you, no doubt you've got to be feeling some level of wanting to take a step forward, wanting to even express yourself differently or show up differently, like recognizing your own path or just wanting to make some sort of changes. And there could be some just residual stuff here. And it's almost kind of like how do you make the shift from being in it and unpacking, deconditioning, and all of that into forward momentum or like changed behaviors or like changed patterns. It's interesting, like this Five of Swords says, continuing to cause strife when others have given up the fight. Awkwardness, an inferiority complex, an empty victory, rejection, feeling dejected, unfounded suspicion, paranoia, overly protective. Insecurity leads to one feeling like everyone is against them when in reality no one is paying attention. Bro, this is a bit of a read. Harboring pain, anger, and negativity after a bad situation has passed. Yeah. This card, so with the Hanged Man, this card has two primary themes: transcension and suspension. Though physically trapped and bound, the Hanged Man overcomes his circumstances to gain spiritual and mental freedom. The physical body and the physical world are but temporary vessels that can only partially contain the spirit, while the liberated soul treads freely and forever. The Hanged Man reminds us that all we need to succeed is already already inside of us, and that although the outside world can hinder us and harm us, we have a choice in every moment of every day to think and feel whatever we like. Just as a soul can transcend the body to achieve a greater awareness, so can the body transcend the limits of the mind in order to fulfill one's purpose. Bro, unwillingness or other delay in making a decision or taking a needed action, restraint, a state of suspension, and a period of waiting, overcoming circumstance to find inner peace and liberation, willing surrender, and conscious submission. Now, this is a side of the truth. And it feels like with this Five of Swords, kind of like the book said, and of course I can't remember exactly the words that I literally just read 30 seconds ago, but the programming, like your reaction to things, your perception of reality, again, because we're talking swords here, your perception, how you feel you need to react to life or, to experiences. It's like breaking out of that program. It's interrupting those behaviors. Whereas, like before, maybe you would have over here, right? Like you would have really almost kind of beaten a dead horse. Maybe even like some sort of like being stubborn as well. And almost maybe even like protecting your truth, your beliefs, your ideas, which can be a bit of that like stubbornness, like nobody can tell me anything, or I'm not taking opinions, I'm not open to criticism, or which I get. Like I've gone through those periods as well. Like I'm just like I'm trying to figure out my own thing, and I it doesn't help me for other people to explain or share their understanding of it, like, but like I said, it's a period, it's a phase that you go through. And the truth is, you don't have to do that. anymore. It's not necessary. Like, you're not, your beliefs, your ideas, your truth ultimately is not, cannot be threatened by someone else's perception, opinion, advice. And with the Hanged Man here, it's really like wrapping yourself in that truth. Not to the point of course, like isolating or anything like that. And also too, it's not like being arrogant and just being like, I don't listen to anybody. I don't take anybody's opinions into account, or I don't, it's nothing like that. I mean, maybe it could be for a little while, right? If that's a process you need to go through. But it's just that knowing yourself deeper, understanding yourself deeper, being aware of your programming, which again, by programming, I mean like your stories, your beliefs, how you perceive yourself, what you believe to be possible, what you believe you deserve. Again, it's the reactions that you have to experiences in your life. Are you reacting from an old program? Because when you were 8, this happened, and your brain attached a meaning to that, which became a belief, which became the actions and the behavior that you have around it. And that becomes your activation or your trigger when something similar happens, right? So then you have a reaction to it. But now you have more of an awareness, you have more of an understanding of what your truth is. And even being able to recognize when a threat or a perceived threat or a trigger or an activation, when it has retreated, or like when it's no longer a quote unquote threat. And it's also, even like protecting yourself energetically, emotionally, spiritually as well. Because also too, like I'm sitting here like just kind of thinking how interesting it is that on the lie side we have the Fool, and on the truth side we have the Hanged Man. So we go from like exposure, and maybe too, of course we talked about what the Fool means, right? But the nuance to that as well, or just going solely based on imagery here, like they were, again, like they're not even watching where they're walking. So there is a sense of being either unaware or just not paying attention, maybe impulsive as well. Like I said, they are looking up, and up in this card is the sun. And again, like maybe it is the like toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing, or blindly trusting, blind faith. Even the expectation that what you are walking into is the sun, like not necessarily, obviously walking into the sun, but, like walking into, like you thought you were doing the right things for yourself, right? And there are no wrong answers ever anyway. But it was based on either like incomplete data or outdated programming. I don't know why I like keep using like all these kind of like technology terms. But what ended up happening, because again, like once they take that step, like they're gonna fall into the nighttime or the darkness, and it's like especially with the Ten of Swords here. Again, like what you thought you were doing was good for you, was, the best that you could do. That was, and it was the best that you could do with the information that you had. You thought you were doing the right thing. And again, there's no wrong answers, but it just led you, or you ended up being in a position where you were unhappy, where, again, like it's just mentally not great, not feeling good about the situation, feeling defeated even. And then over here, like I was saying with the Hanged Man and protection, and even just the fact of being physically bound here. I mean, it really is like laying down your swords. It's not fighting against yourself even. It is recognizing when a quote unquote threat is no longer. And that threat can be triggers, activations. But also you need to be aware of those things. And what are they, and what are your reactions to them? And also know that you have full control over that. This almost also even feels like recalling your energy, like, I mean, maybe even like soul retrieval. There's also an element of trusting yourself. Protecting yourself, mentally and emotionally, mentally. And also interesting that, it's like top bottom, the day and the night, top bottom, and then over here the day and the night is next to each other. So even like that perspective shift, it's really interesting read. I mean, I hope that I did it justice. Like, I hope that I explained everything. And also, the sun is up here. These wolves, I don't know. I just keep getting this feeling that like they just wanted to hang out. They weren't trying to like hurt the person. They just wanted to, but that could just be because they look like big old dogs. And I'm like, if not friend shaped, why? Or if not friendly, why friend shaped or whatever, But the guy like runs them off anyway, and they're like, oh, we just wanted to chill. We just wanted to hang out. You have a fire. It's cold outside. And this person like just kind of like blew up, like just misread, or it could have been, of course, like their fears. Again, their perception, right? They saw it as a threat. And that could even be a message for you too. Like, I know with that second line, it's the natural, or the easy breezy, like naturally gifted at something. In my next life, like I would love to be a 2-4, actually. A Sagittarius rising, 2-4 specifically. But they, like, the second line has a hard time seeing that in themselves, which is why there's other people, right? Like, other people recognize your quote unquote genius. And you're just like, what? Like, this is just like a hobby that I do, or this is just, I don't know, like something that I'm interested in. And people are like, yeah, but like not everybody can do that. Like not everybody has that ability, or it doesn't come that easily to a lot of people. So then it almost like creates discomfort, right? And then you kind of start pushing that away if it makes you uncomfortable, or if it makes you feel too vulnerable or like too seen, then you're like, I'm not going to show it to anybody. Like I'm not going to be outward about it. And because maybe it's something that, again, like you just don't think is a big deal. but other people can see it in you. So that could even be what's happening with these swords cards. And even again, like with this Five of Swords, like it really is like a perception shift of, just because like people are maybe complimenting you, or people are, saying, hey, like you have a real talent for that, or you have a real, propensity for something like that, or you're doing a really good job at this or whatever. And if you take that as like, I feel too seen, I feel too vulnerable, I don't actually think I'm good at it, so I don't even know what they're seeing in me, that would be the perspective shift as well. Just take it. Like, just say thank you. like just say thank you. I really do enjoy it. I just don't think that I'm that good at it. And of course people are going to be like, "Oh my god, you're crazy." But right, like there's a confidence thing even. Maybe it's like, feeling the weight of expectation as well. And these are all things with swords. These are all stories, beliefs that when they get activated, when they get triggered in you, is a great opportunity for you to be like, what is that? Why do I feel triggered? Why do I feel vulnerable? Why do I feel, you know, like I want to run and hide? Like I just want to hermit again or whatever, And you start following those little breadcrumbs back to when, like, what happened? And also, it gives you a great opportunity to decide, is that story, is that programming, is that behavior, is that true? 9 times out of 10, it is not. And then you get to decide what is true. That's like the whole point of this, like what is the quote unquote lie, which is old programming, old, beliefs, limiting beliefs. And what is true for me now? What truth is going to help me move forward or be more aligned with what I want and help me reach my full potential? Right? Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I feel like we got it. We got it. Okay. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. Actually, we have the Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And actually the Four of Pentacles, which is kind of hilarious. 2, 4. Two of Cups is, just it's other people, it's shared values. This is also giving yourself permission to enjoy your fourth line, actually, which is other people. It's your network. It's, connections, it's friends, it's communities. Like truly, for fourth lines, your best opportunities are going to be found in your network. Putting a little birdie out there, like getting together with, communities and groups that you enjoy. This is like allowing yourself to enjoy those things on an emotional level, right? And then the Four of Pentacles, this is like, protection, which I know we were talking about the Hanged Man over here. This is like hanging on too tight. This would still be, like especially, if we're talking about these two cards together, it's like emotionally you can allow yourself to, make connections, to enjoy, like you're finding people who have the same morals or the same beliefs or the same, values as you, or their cup is just as full as yours, or, there's an equal exchange of emotion happening, but there's still kind of this level of not quite being like all the way vulnerable, not quite I mean, like they're hovering over this pile of money, and Pentacles is the material world. I'm curious, clinging too tightly, greed, saving and frugality, yeah. Having the money needed, a secret is held, financial stability is highly valued, worried over the loss of resources or general financial anxiety. Yeah, I mean, this almost kind of feels like you don't have to just like go full out, and just become, like a completely open book, right? I don't think a hermit would ever be a completely open book anyway, which is great, but it is like, again, there is this thing about even maybe the dance of like what to hold back, what to keep sacred, and what to share as well. I just think that it was interesting that the two cards at the bottom of the deck were a 2 and a 4. Like, what are the odds, But I do think it's interesting because also even just the imagery on this card with all the green and everything else was like a bunch of blue, some yellow, which is throat and solar plexus. Green is heart. So it's like your mind has done its job, and now it's how does this fit in? Like, how do I engage with my life? Like, how do I engage with people, and who do I want to engage with? And then also even to the dance between being out there, being social, being, available or seen, and then being a hermit, because you need the time alone. You need the hermit. I always mention too, eventually with a hermit, like having your space be just so that it gives you energy, like your bedroom, your entire house, your, apartment, your office, even like whatever is your space, like decorate it, set it up, change it around as many times as you want to, like really make sure, that it is set up in a way where it gives you energy, because hermits do recharge in their space, and you have to have your space just in a way that is correct for you to get energy from it as well. So it's like, again, the dance between being out and then being in, and then being out again and then being in, right? So, okay, I'm officially leaving it there. Thank you so much. Bye.